It began without warning. Deep beneath the ocean floor, a violent rupture sent shockwaves racing across the Pacific. A magnitude 8.8 earthquake, one of the strongest in modern history, struck Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula, triggering panic, chaos, and something even more terrifying, a tsunami. This wasn't just a wave. It was a towering wall of water, moving faster than a jet airliner. Within hours, that wall began crashing onto shores thousands of miles away, from Hawaii to California, from Japan to Chile. Cities flooded, sirens screamed, millions evacuated. And yet, many questions remain. Why did this happen now? How close were we to disaster? And is the worst still to come? In today's special report, we break down everything you need to know, from the science behind the quake to the global emergency response and the eerie volcanic activity now rising from the Earth. This is not just a natural disaster. This is a global wake-up call. Stay with us. In this video, you'll discover how one of the most powerful earthquakes in decades sent ripples across the planet, why Hawaii, California, and Japan were placed under immediate tsunami alerts, what caused the massive volcanic eruption that followed, and why it's deeply concerning what tsunami waves actually do when they reach shore, and why they're far deadlier than most imagine. How governments from the US to Chile responded, and whether they were truly prepared. And finally, could this be a sign of something bigger? A planetary shift? A warning of future megaquakes? We've gathered real-time footage, expert analysis, and first-hand accounts from people who lived through the event to bring you a full, honest, and clear picture of what just happened and what might come next. At 2:14 a.m. local time, one of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded struck off the eastern coast of Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula. With a magnitude of 8.8, the quake sent shockwaves across the Pacific Ocean, triggering tsunami warnings in multiple countries. Kamchatka, a remote volcanic region with fewer than 300,000 residents, was the first to feel the impact. Giant waves, some over 13 feet high, flooded coastal towns and ports. People fled inland in panic. The tremors didn't stop there. Dozens of aftershocks followed, some as strong as 6.9. Within minutes, Hawaii, the US West Coast, and Japan issued tsunami alerts. In Hawaii, emergency sirens blared. Highways became jammed with cars trying to escape low-lying areas. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center warned of waves up to 6 feet high, with the first arriving just after 7:15 p.m. In Japan, memories of the devastating 2011 tsunami resurfaced. More than 2 million people were placed under evacuation advisories. Ferries, trains, and flights were suspended. On the U.S. mainland, cities from Monterey to Crescent City braced for impact. In California and Oregon, authorities warned residents to avoid harbors, beaches, and low-lying coastal zones. But that wasn't all. As the tsunami spread, a volcano near the epicenter, Klyuchevskaya Sobka, the largest active volcano in the northern hemisphere, began to erupt, spewing lava and ash into the sky.
In Hawaii, panic spread quickly as tsunami sirens echoed through the islands. Roads became gridlocked as residents and tourists alike rushed to reach higher ground. Shelters were opened across the state and military helicopters stood ready for possible rescues. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center recorded waves between 4 and 6 feet in various locations, but officials warned a tsunami is not just one wave, it's a series of waves over hours. Some can be stronger than the first. In Honolulu, parking lots, boat harbors, and shoreline roads saw minor flooding, but damage was limited. Local residents, still shaken, compared the situation to the 2011 disaster in Japan. On the U.S. mainland, the West Coast saw moderate impact. In Crescent City, California, waves reached about 3.5 feet, and strong currents were reported in harbors. Emergency services advised people to stay away from beaches and marinas. Even small tsunami waves can cause powerful and dangerous surges. In Japan, over 2 million residents remained under evacuation orders into Wednesday evening. Waves reached up to 2 feet in Hokkaido, and transportation across the region was heavily disrupted. The 2011 tsunami that killed nearly 20,000 people still haunts many, and this time precautions were taken fast. Across South America, the warnings turned into action. In Chile, beaches were evacuated, schools were closed, and tsunami alerts were raised to their highest level. In Ecuador, classes were suspended in the Galapagos Islands and along the coast. Colombia restricted maritime traffic and closed all low-lying areas near the Pacific. Meanwhile, in Russia's Kamchatka, dramatic scenes unfolded. A cancer surgery was caught on video as doctors continued operating while the operating room shook violently. Flooding hit fishing ports and boats were swept into the sea. Fortunately, no deaths were reported, though several injuries occurred. Just hours later, Kamchatka's Kluchevskaya volcano erupted, sending lava and ash pouring down its slopes. Scientists had warned the volcano was building pressure for weeks, and this earthquake may have triggered the eruption.
The earthquake that triggered the tsunami was a magnitude 8.6 event, one of the strongest in the last decade. It struck deep beneath the Pacific plate, along a subduction zone where one tectonic plate slides under another. These zones are notorious for generating the world's most violent earthquakes, including the deadly 2004 Indian Ocean quake. When the seafloor shifts suddenly, it displaces millions of tons of water in seconds. This energy travels across the ocean as a tsunami, invisible in deep water, but gaining height as it nears land. According to experts, the shape of the ocean floor and coastline can amplify wave heights dramatically. That's why places like Hawaii, Japan, and parts of South America with narrow bays and steep shelves face higher risks. But there's more. Seismologists are now studying a pattern of foreshocks, smaller tremors that happen days before the main quake. This could help predict future megaquakes, or at least give earlier warning signs. Another concern? The volcanic link. Earthquakes can shift magma chambers, causing nearby volcanoes like Russia's Kluchevskaya Sopka to erupt. This raises the stakes. It's not just tsunamis we need to worry about, but possible volcanic chains. This time, we were lucky. The waves were smaller than feared. No mass destruction, no widespread casualties. But the warning signs were clear. Earth is shifting, and fast. Tsunamis don't give second chances. When the ground shakes, you move. This event showed us how interconnected we are. A quake in Russia sends waves to Hawaii, Japan, even South America. And this might be just the beginning. Scientists believe the Pacific Ring of Fire is waking up, with more pressure building beneath the crust. Will the next one be worse? Or will we be ready in time? Stay informed, stay alert. Subscribe if you want to understand what's happening and what's coming next.